Next tonight, narrowing the gap between urban and rural dwellers that exists even in a relatively prosperous country such as Thailand. Special correspondent Fred de Sam Lazaro reports on one social entrepreneur's project in that Southeast Asian nation. A version of this segment aired on the PBS program Religion and Ethics News Weekly.
It looks more like a theme park than a school, and it's not just the location in one of Thailand's most impoverished regions that's unusual. Buildings are made of bamboo, including a geodesic dome. Just one way Michai Viravaidya is getting people to think differently.
Well, just to show that you can do things people don't normally think can be done, such as getting underprivileged kids to be at the top of the scale of many, many things, of being good, being decent.
The Michai Patana School is the cornerstone of an idea to attack rural poverty and stereotypes and to instill a new kind of learning.
This is our sex education wheel.
This Wheel of Fortune game teaches about various sexually transmitted diseases.
Green is a safe color, of course. Aha! Oh no! HIV! Oh boy, just missed out, huh? And they have a good laugh, and then, because HIV is explained up there.
Michai has long relied on good laughs to explain HIV and sex education in this conservative Southeast Asian nation. Born to physician parents, his mother from Scotland, his father from a prominent Thai family, Michai was trained as an economist. But he became a TV personality who spearheaded family planning campaigns in the 70s and, 2 decades later, condom use to prevent HIV. I first interviewed him in 1998.
We said, look, one must not be embarrassed by the condom. It's just from a rubber tree, like a tennis ball. If you're embarrassed by the condom, you must be more embarrassed by the tennis ball. There's more rubber in it.
Michai is credited with bringing down Thailand's soaring HIV infection rate and its high birth rate, work that won him numerous international awards, including the $1 million Gates Foundation Prize for Global Health. Dr. Malcolm Potts, former head of the International Planned Parenthood Federation, says it changed the future of Thailand.
In 1960, Thailand and the Philippines had about the same population, about 60 million people, 50 million people. Today, the Philippines has 94 million people, and there's a lot of poverty. Thailand has 1.8 children per family. It's got about 68 million people, and it's making progress.
Potts was an early collaborator with Michai. He says population stability was an economic stepping stone.
I think it's a seamless evolution. Michai, at least in the past, used to talk about fertility-led development.
Thailand, now considered a middle-income country, faces a different crisis that Michai is attacking, a growing economic gap between its rural and urban areas that forces young people to leave the farms to find work. On a beach resort once owned by Michai's family, it's now run by a non-profit group he founded, is a garden of so-called intensive agriculture. He wants to develop appropriate, sustainable technology to increase incomes in farm families.
This is the new style condom. This is the poverty eradication condom.
The unusual metaphor aside, he says these recycled bags of potting soil can grow produce, in this case cantaloupes, with a minimum of water and space and maximum profit.
You grow it 4 times a year, so that's 24,000 baht. That's just under $1,000 for this much space. Nearly as good as marijuana. Might be even better. Don't have to share with the police either.
All joking aside, he says other Thai staples, mushrooms, limes, poultry, and hydroponic produce can easily be grown in rural enterprises, like those he's helped set up in Buriram province, about 4 hours from Bangkok. He's worked here for 2 decades, introducing his crop ideas. Earlier in his career, he helped bring factories to the region. They now operate independently.
You have a factory in the middle of nowhere here.
This shoe factory was started with international grants. It now provides work for 140 to 200 people, producing mostly for the multinational Bata Shoe Company.
We help from Canadian money again to provide a loan for them to establish a factory building, and then help to get Bata to come in, rented the machinery, and then bought the machinery, and they've been on their own for about 15 years.
A short distance away are buildings once used to train people to raise livestock. Now they are factories, making braziers in this building, ice skates in the next.
How could you imagine an old chicken pen or an old pig pen making this stuff, or braziers?
Was it really a tough sell at first?
Oh yeah, took 7 visits. They did it out of pity at first, and then they realized it worked. And when we bring somebody new down, they can't quite fathom it and how can it be done, because they have been so used to the perception that you do everything like this in Bangkok, in the city.
The factories provide livable, if not lucrative, wages and social benefits. But to truly transform rural communities, Michai says it will take new approaches to education. And that's where the Bamboo School comes in. It's now 3 years old, serving grades 7 through 10. Funds to build it came from profits from his resort, the Gates Prize money, and corporate donations. Longer term, the school is developing its own vegetable farm, a key part of its business strategy.
So when this is up and running and flourishing, the cantaloupes and the limes will be paying
Yes,
the teacher salaries here.
amongst other things we do, yes.
The motto here is, the more you give, the more you get. Aside from academics, every student and family face strict work requirements.
The parents do community service and the kids do community service, and for every lunch time or meal time, you have to do 1 hour's community service. So their payment is in providing help to other people. That's their school fees.
As part of their service, these students were preparing lesson plans to teach younger children in a nearby government school. It's part of their training in leadership and critical thinking, and a departure from the rote learning standard in most Thai public schools.
The teachers are here to teach us, but they're also like friends, like an older friend that you can go to for advice, not just about what you're learning.
My parents are rice farmers, and I expect my future to be quite different because I want to become a doctor, and I believe I can do that. I've learned new ways to help my parents, who are used to doing agriculture the traditional ways, and I can help raise their income.
And because students at Michai School regularly volunteer, they feel connected to their rural communities, says teacher Nantina Saninchai. She predicts 2/3 of them will create or find jobs here.
So a number will stay here. They have computers, etc., similar to what they would in the city.
Ideas from Michai School are catching on with various backyard enterprises. On weekends in the village of Banong Takem, children collect litter in exchange for spending time online at a community center or in a toy and book library. Parents prepare food and hand out treats. The village chief, Chamleong Panrin, says one reason this community thrives is that parents are around for their children.
8 years ago, migration was rampant. Everybody would leave, and you only had children being brought up by the grandparents. Now it has very greatly improved.
The only road out of poverty is through business enterprise, and this is what we're doing. Teach them, train them, lend them the money, not give them the money, and the business skills. But probably very, very important to go with the 2 is community empowerment.
And you need to start it young.
Yes, start them young. When you start learning how to give when you're young, when you get older, it's second nature. Just like stealing. Start young, you keep on stealing forever.
Michai says he won't mind if more people steal this self-help model of building community and nation.
Fred's reporting is a partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at St. Mary's University in Minnesota.